I'm Jen.
And I'm Em.
Welcome to In My Haunted Era.
It's a podcast where we talk about spooky shit. And we talk about spooky stories, talk about UFOs, talk about things that are creepy and crawly, and it brings us a lot of joy.
It brings us so much joy. I have so much joy coming into this podcast every week.
Oh, it's so nice to hear.
It's like the highlight of my week at this point, at this moment.
Girl, you got kids.
Exactly. It's the highlight of my week at this point. Kevin took the kids to his mom's house for the night, for the evening. And so I'm here alone in a quiet, peaceful house.
Amazing.
And having the best. This is great, especially after I worked 2 night shifts this weekend and woke up at 2. So having a little break to rejoin the rest of the world is very nice.
How do like your shifts work with the time change?
So on Saturday, I had no idea it was daylight savings time. I'll tell you this and then I'll tell you how it works. But me and Kevin were actually arguing at like 2 a.m. I was arguing with him about some dumb shit. I don't know what I got mad about, but I was hyped up and I was angry.
At 2 a.m.?
Yeah, because he'll stream later on Fridays and Saturdays since we don't have the kids in the morning. So he was icing his hands after his stream, and then because he's got the arthritis.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a long time.
Was it caused by gaming?
Gaming. Yeah. The way he holds his controllers is like fucking insane. It's like this kind of claw thing. So I think that's just kind of making it worse. So
ice
he has to ice his hands for like 30 minutes after each stream and take some ibuprofen for like anti-inflammatory purposes. But yeah, so he was up late doing that. I was mad about some shit, probably very unimportant because I don't remember what it was. And then I noticed it was like
arthritis hands.
Yeah, he's like
it's still
yeah. And so I noticed it was like 3 something, and I was like, Jesus, like he is up late. How did it get so late? And then 2 hours later, we don't have a patient. So I'm sitting down in the office and my coworker is sitting upstairs. She comes down around 4 and she's like, did you know it was daylight savings time? And I was like, is that what happened? Because I was like, where did 2 hours go? Or an hour? But it felt like I lost 2 hours of time.
My God.
And I was researching stuff for our trip. And I was like, I thought I had more time than this. And I had no idea. But so basically when it's the fall back, it resets back to 2:00 at 3:00. And so when we're charting, we do another column, or in my charting system, Epic, we use a separate column because we'd have to chart hourly things like vital signs, numbers, whatever in the ICU. So at the only thing that's different really is that we chart a column at 02:01 instead of 2:00. And then that's that time.
Okay.
For the second 2:00. And then, you just kind of do everything according to the time. The medication record will automatically adjust to the time and stuff. And then go ahead.
Do you get off at the same time?
I get off at the same time. I get paid the same amount. So this one, since we lost an hour, I still get paid for 12 hours, but we get paid 13 hours on the other one. So I don't lose money in either situation. And I only gain a little bit of money on the other way. But yeah. And then you just lose an hour. So if you're having a really busy shift, it fucking sucks to lose that hour. I've had those shifts. And I always work Friday, Saturday, Sundays. I always work weekend nights. So I always hit daylight savings time. I've done at least 9 of them probably in my career. And I'm telling you, the one where you lose an hour and you're having a busy shift, you get fucked. Because you're like, all of a sudden I have 60 less minutes to do all the things I need to do. So yeah,
that's stressful. I forgot it was this week. I didn't see any reminders on Instagram.
No, that's what I was saying. Usually people are talking about the impending doom of daylight savings time. They're complaining that it's going to get dark early in the fall, and they hate that shit. And then they complain for a week or 2 before this one, and because they're about to lose an hour of sleep. But I heard nothing.
Me either. And that's why and I don't use an alarm clock. I use my phone.
Yeah.
And so Steven got up with our dog Winter like normal on Sunday morning. And I checked my phone and it was about the same time I wake up every day, which was like 8:30-ish.
Yeah.
On the weekends, 8:30.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I took my happy ass downstairs, started making tea, and Steven was like, we lost an hour. I was like, what? And he's like, the time changed. She woke me up at this time. I was like, bitch, I didn't even notice.
I had no idea.
And I was like, oh, that explains like the oven clock. He goes, yeah, how'd you not know? And I was like, well, I just used my phone and it changed automatically.
Yeah, it changed automatically. Remember when the phones used to not change automatically?
Yeah.
I remember that time of life.
I mean, what? I'm so young.
I mean, wait. I'm just 20.
What are you talking about? Say that he thought I was in my early 20s and we're born the same year. And I was like, thank you. But he's got 2 kids. So.
That I feel like having children ages you quite a bit.
I mean, you still are. I mean, your husband does have arthritis
22.
in the hands, but...
Unfortunately, he can't blame that on the kids. He can just blame that on his dumb job.
Like,
not dumb.
I wonder, does Steven? He has to know.
I don't know. I'd be curious. I don't know how much Kevin talks about it.
Wait, text
him. But yeah, ask him if he knows. But yeah, on Saturday when I was going to work, I noticed it was brighter than normal at the time I'm driving to work, and I thought, that's nice. But I never crossed my mind. I wonder when daylight savings time is. Could it be today? Is it coming up? Like
Instagram
none of those thoughts crossed my mind. Instagram will tell me. The internet, TikTok will say something. There's got to be TikToks. I've only seen one. And I saw a tweet today. I don't know if it was a tweet. I don't know where I saw it. But it was, someone was saying that, why don't we do the time change for the spring on a Monday at 10 a.m.? You know what I mean? So we lose an hour during the workday on a Monday. Nobody will notice. And it would help Mondays a lot.
I would not be mad about it.
But keep the other one on a Saturday so we can, sleep longer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. People have like really strong opinions whether or not to keep
People
it. And
really
I just don't think I care.
I don't know. What would it be if we got rid of it?
I don't know.
Would we always stay in this time?
I hope so. Because I guess, okay, so I do have a preference and I do care. And that's because I have a seasonal depression. Yeah. And I swear to God, when the sun hits me, I'm like, oh my God, my will to live. There it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I prefer daylight savings, right? That's the springtime one? Yeah. So what's the other one?
That's what I was wondering. I don't know what it's called. Like, I don't know what... When you say daylight savings time, what are you referring to? Is it the summer one or the winter one?
Are they both called daylight savings?
I don't know.
I'm not a doctor.
If anyone's listening and they know, I'm not a doctor. Exactly.
I don't know.
I have summer seasonal depression. And so I really hate it. When the sun is out later, I'm like, oh God, it's coming. The impending doom is setting in. But it doesn't really start till July, which is related to how hot it fucking gets here.
That's kind of,
versus the light.
I guess it does. I think I just have regular depression, bro. But like.
I have that too. Yeah.
Because, like in the summer, when it's really, really hot, you really can't go outside and you're just.
It's like the same as people up north in the winter. Like.
Yeah. So I think I'm just kind of depressy all the time.
I'm just depressed. I'm just like always depressed.
I also lucky.
Yeah, we're so lucky. It just never changes. The sun does help though. I do enjoy having more time in the day. It feels like you have more time in the day to do things.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, we have more time in the day to talk about our stories.
Yeah, we do. Fuck yeah, we do. What are you talking about today?
I'm taking us to Australia.
That's so fun.
We're going to the Monte Cristo Homestead. Have you heard of it?
Oh my God. I've never heard of it.
Me either.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. And where are you taking us before I start?
We're doing the Old City Jail in Charleston. We're going back to Charleston today.
I do really want to go to Charleston. I know I said that the first time we talked about it, but I do want to go to Charleston.
Let's take a pod trip and do all the haunted things.
And go to that old-ass church and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could take the boys and they can film us doing shit.
Amazing. They would love nothing more.
They would love nothing more than be dragged along to all these haunted stuff.
Steven would cry. I love you, baby, if you're listening, but he'll cry.
But you're pussy. I'm just kidding.
So sorry, before I get started on the Monte Cristo Homestead, my husband Steven doesn't like scary stuff, and he doesn't.
Kevin doesn't either.
My favorite movie growing up, like that I would watch on my own volition, was the original It, and I loved it.
Interesting.
I loved Tim Curry. My mom liked it too, so we'd watch it together. My dad was like, "Ew, why are you watching that?" Like one time I stayed home sick, and I put it on, and he came in the living room and abruptly turned it off. He's like, "You don't need to be watching that." I was like, I watch it all the time. He goes, not when you're sick.
How old were you?
4th grade. And And he was like,
That was your movie of choice on sick day? I love
he
that.
was like, no, Emily. And I was like, it's fine. Anyway, I don't remember what I watched after that. But he can't even like look at the cover of the movie of either one, the new one or the old one, or the cover of the book. He won't let me have the book in the house because he's like, no, because that is his number one. His number one is it. So we were scrolling through, I think, HBO yesterday, trying to find a movie to watch. And it was on the screen, like the it face is on the screen. And he goes, and started like, he's like, not gonna look at that. And I was like, I love you so much. But anyway, that's
so is it the clown? Is it clowns for him or it specifically?
He's not chill with clowns. Like if it's like a happy, fun clown, you're like, oh, it's kind of weird, but not scary.
Yeah.
But a scary clown, it's like it, or like, is it The Terrifier? He considers that like the black and white. It's like a newer movie, but it's like really indie.
Oh, okay.
He cannot.
He can't do that.
No, it's so funny.
Do you prefer the new It or the old It?
Old It.
And have you read the book?
I have not read the book.
Okay. I was going to see if you enjoy the book more than the movie.
I want to read the book, but there are like parts of it that I don't want to read. That are get into more detail than in the movie. So I don't know if I ever will. But, maybe a listener can change my mind if you have an input. Yeah. We also got this new office chair, and it doesn't have arms, and it's wide, so I can, like, sit on
I know exactly what kind of chair it is, and I need that. Because I can't cross my legs good.
Steven said, I knew he was having issues these past few years, but I didn't know that he got it medically confirmed.
Okay, I don't think it's medically confirmed. I mean, I don't know, actually. I can't remember if when he first told me about it, it was medically confirmed. But most things with Kevin are unlikely to be medically confirmed because that man will not go to the doctor. Except to get his ADHD medicine refilled.
That's important shit.
That would motivate me. It does motivate me.
All right, without further ado.
Let's go.
I already told you we're going to be talking about the Monte Cristo Homestead. It's this is on me. When I was researching it, I didn't look up how to pronounce this place. I've been saying Junee, New South Wales. But let me double check that pronunciation is correct before Junee. Okay, then we're fine. So it's located in Junee, New South Wales, and it is widely regarded as Australia's most haunted house. So it's not saying in the world, but it's saying in Australia, this might be the most haunted house. And it was built in the late 19th century, so it's like not as old as some of these other places we've been talking about.
No.
It was home to the Crawley family for decades and has since become infamous for the eerie and unexplained phenomena recorded there. Today, the homestead is known as a hotspot for paranormal activity, with countless visitors and investigators experiencing unsettling encounters. This document will explore the rich history of Monte Cristo, the tragic events that took place there, and the ghostly tales that have emerged over the years. Trying to get fancy with my document. Anyway, the history of the Monte Cristo Homestead. It was constructed in 1885 by Christopher William Crawley. Did you ever watch, not Bridgerton?
Yes. I know what you're talking about. And yes.
Downton Abbey.
I missed the time when I had never seen Downton Abbey and I watched it the first watch through. Anyway, I love that show. Did you watch the movie that came out?
No.
I didn't watch it either.
We should.
I didn't want to ruin a good thing.
I might have to because I miss Maggie Smith. R.I.P.
I do.
But anyway, when I was doing this, the Crawley really got to me.
Yeah, that was I thought about that.
So Christopher William Crawley, no relation to Downton Abbey, was a wealthy landowner who had capitalized on the economic boom brought by the Great Southern Railway. Before finding success, Crawley was a struggling farmer, barely making ends meet in the rural Australian landscape. I have a really hard time with the word rural.
Rural juror.
Yeah. However, his fortunes took a dramatic turn when he built the Junee Railway Hotel, strategically positioned to serve the growing influx of travelers, the railway workers. Sorry.
So rural railway.
Yep.
Our words.
With the steady stream of business, he accumulated substantial wealth, which he used to construct Monte Cristo, an elaborate Victorian-style mansion that stood as a symbol of his newfound prosperity. So the Crawley family enjoyed a life of luxury, obviously, because they came into all that wealth. Within the ornate walls of Monte Cristo, Christopher, a shrewd businessman, and managed his affairs with authority, while his wife, Elizabeth Crawley was known for her deeply religious nature and unyielding discipline. Would not have gotten along.
No, not my
Their
kind of
home,
woman.
yeah, no. Their home was a place of rigid order where strict rules governed the lives of not just their family, but also the servants who lived and worked there.
That
Sounds like a
sucks.
fun time.
Yeah.
When Christopher Crawley passed away in 1910 due to complications from a blood infection, the homestead
Sepsis.
probably.
The
Who
sepsis.
knows? The homestead took on an even darker atmosphere without him there. So devastated by her husband's death, Elizabeth withdrew from the public eye, shutting herself away inside the mansion. For the next 23 years, she rarely ventured beyond the estate's grounds, clutching a Bible wherever she went and reinforcing the household's strict moral code.
This is like the religious hauntings that we talked about last week, where we're like, we don't fuck with religious hauntings. I feel like this is brewing a religious haunting with the Bible clutching.
Away from me.
Yeah, just, you don't need to take it everywhere. No shade to Christianity.
Just
Do
don't
you,
have,
boo?
just like,
Just do it for you.
yeah, do it for you.
Do
Don't
it for you.
do it for you. I love that.
We don't got to do it together.
No. So her reclusive nature gave rise to stories that she was guarding secrets. And even after her death in 1933, rumors persisted that her presence never left the home. So as the years passed, Monte Cristo was left abandoned for a time, falling into disrepair. The once grand estate became a shadow of its former self, and with its fading grandeur came whispers of supernatural activity. In the 1960s, Reg and Olive Ryan, Reg and Olive,
Reg and Olive. That's beautiful.
Purchased the property with the hope of restoring it. However, even as they worked to revive the mansion's former beauty, they found themselves at the center of eerie and inexplicable experiences, adding to the home's already chilling reputation.
And houses don't like to be renovated. Like haunted houses, you're just
No,
stirring it up. You're
of
just
course
stirring
not.
it up. So not surprised that it got worse.
Started to go downhill.
Yeah.
So Monte Cristo's dark past is filled with tales of misfortune and mysterious deaths, all of which have contributed to its haunting legacy. One of the most infamous stories revolves around a young maid who met a tragic end after falling from the second-story balcony. While some
No.
believe it was a tragic accident, others whisper that something or someone pushed her to her death.
Yeah. How do you fall from a balcony?
I don't know.
Like, unless the balcony falls. You know what I mean?
Collapses.
You either throw yourself over, the balcony collapses, or someone pushes you.
Yeah.
Because what are you reaching for that you would accidentally topple over? I don't buy it for a second.
Me either. Especially, or those stories if you hear like people falling overboard on cruise ships. I'm like,
It was self-inflicted or somebody pushed them.
yeah.
Period.
Period. Or my niece goes, period. She's 7, by the way. Period. So those who do visit the balcony today often describe an overwhelming sense of unease, as if an unseen force lingers there watching and waiting. Never pushing, but watching. Another horrifying tale stems from the brutal fate of a stable boy who was locked inside the estate stables and set on fire.
What?
It is said that his master, displeased with his work, chose to make an example of him in the cruelest way possible.
Yeah.
Blech. The boy's agonized screams were rumored to have echoed through the night, embedding themselves into the very walls of the estate.
Yeah. That shit does not leave.
No.
That energy does not leave.
Especially because it was a stable boy and how young they must have been.
Oh my God. That's awful. He probably just didn't scoop the hay right.
It's really sad.
That's really sad.
And now visitors who visit the stables have reported hearing ghostly cries in the darkness.
Yeah.
And smelling the unmistakable scent of burning flesh.
Oh, that's awful.
Despite there being no fire. So
that would be the worst thing. I worked in the burn ICU.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I worked at the trauma hospital.
Yeah.
And so I didn't always work there, but we would float there all the time. And we were trained in our ICU internship to learn how to take care of burn patients and do the burn wound care.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that whole place smells like burnt skin, the whole fucking place. And everyone's heart rate is in the 130s. And the rooms are warm because of the thermoregulation loss from burns. The rooms are fucking balmy. They're like 80 degrees.
My
so
God.
It's hot. And people are eating their lunches outside the rooms. And I'm
Absolutely not.
that smell, I could not get used to it. I hated going there. That was the worst
No,
kind of ICU for me. So I can attest to
I
the fact that that would be a terrible thing to smell.
not had the pleasure of
I
smelling
hope you never
burnt
do.
flesh. I don't want to. I smell burnt hair.
Yeah, it's much worse.
So okay, it's just, and this is still on topic. To be able to smell the burning flesh, how big of a burn does it need to be?
I don't know. I mean, if you're in the ICU for burns, I mean, it's probably a significant portion.
So you would like to go visit the stables at the Monte Cristo Homestead, is what you're saying?
Yes, I can confirm what we're smelling.
Well, okay, we can go visit it and see. I don't want to. I don't
Great.
think I want to.
I don't think I do.
Also, so one of the most disturbing stories associated with Monte Cristo, if the burning stable boy wasn't enough, it involves a caretaker's son who suffered years of abuse and neglect.
Oh.
In the 1960s, a caretaker lived on the property and, for reasons unknown, kept his mentally ill son locked away in the coach house. Isolated and suffering, the boy is reportedly chained up for most of his life. His voice rendered mute by years of trauma. And when the
God.
caretaker died, the authorities discovered the boy in a wretched state, living in conditions that were like unfit for any human.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they found him. So to this day, those who pass by the coach house claim to hear whispers and anguished moans, as if tormented spirit of the boy still lingers, unable
I mean,
to escape
that shit
the
doesn't
prison.
leave either.
No.
Yeah. Like,
This place,
that's
I'm like, what the fuck?
significant trauma has happened.
Yeah. There's another mystery that surrounds a young maid who allegedly vanished without a trace after becoming pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
So
That
it was
happened.
widely speculated that she had been involved in an illicit affair, insert Taylor Swift lyrics here, with someone in the household. And rather than face scandal, she was permanently silenced and her fate, like, unknown. Like, she just up and disappeared.
Yeah.
So many believe that her spirit still roams the hallways, particularly in the servants' quarters, where flickering lights and sudden drops in temperature have been frequently reported.
Interesting. I bet she didn't go far. I bet she's somewhere on the property.
I know. And that's what I was like, have y'all excavated anything?
Yeah.
Have y'all done,
Can we get some ground penetrating radar up in here?
You gotta do something.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, Monte Cristo Homestead has been the subject of numerous paranormal investigations. With visitors and ghost hunters alike reporting chilling encounters. And I got a little shiver because there is at the end a picture. Can I share my screen with you?
Yeah, there's a button that says share and then screen.
Okay, because I found a Reddit thread of someone who had gone, and they had posted a picture, and like I got too scared to open one of them.
My God, I can't wait.
That's why I got a little scared. But so it's been the subject of numerous paranormal investigations, with ghost hunters and everyone reporting chilling encounters. The most well-documented spirit is that of our friend Elizabeth Crawley.
Of course, I knew it. I knew that Bible-clutching bitch would be back. I knew it.
Many claim to have seen her figure drifting through the house, particularly near the stairs inside her former bedroom. Inside her former bedroom. However, we always joke about a lady in white. She is dressed in all black.
Of course she is.
And her presence is often accompanied by a heavy, oppressive atmosphere that leaves visitors feeling unsettled.
Because she was oppressive in her life, like with all of her strict discipline.
And imagine someone from like this day and age going into her territory, like who probably does not believe in the same stuff she does not practice the same stuff she does, and who might be entirely different from her.
Exactly.
What a bitch. I don't even know this cunt. I don't even know this woman.
I don't know her, but she's a bitch.
But the people there have reported feeling a sudden weight on their chest, as if an unseen force is pressing down on them. And I immediately go to like, you're having a heart attack. You need to go to the doctor.
I wonder if could be the weight of the loss that she felt. You know, how that loss can feel so heavy in your chest. I wonder if that's
because she
never left her house. She lost her husband, and she stayed in her house for what, 20-something years. That kind of feeling, I don't think she ever got over it. And I wonder if that's maybe similar to the feeling she experienced. Maybe it's not malicious per se. I don't know why I'm trying to have this woman's back.
I love it.
But I'm just another thought I had.
Supporting women.
Women supporting women. Even if you clutch your Bibles.
Empowered women empower women.
Exactly. But yeah, I wonder if that could be
Yeah, maybe that's-
reminiscent of the feelings that she felt as she just locked herself in for that long, and that
That's
just kind
a
of
beautiful way
energy
of thinking
stayed.
of it.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
I have beautiful thoughts sometimes.
Not me. I'm all messed up. I'm kidding.
Not me.
Not me. So mysterious sounds and strange lights frequently plague the house, of course, because it's a haunted house. Disembodied whispers echo through empty hallways. Footsteps can be heard pacing across the room where no one is present, and a faint ghostly laughter has been detected in the dead of night. I don't fuck with laughter.
I don't like that.
No.
The whispers, creepy, but like a random laugh in the middle of the fucking night, go fuck yourself.
Remember when the Amazon Alexa Echo things were doing it?
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was scary as hell.
Child giggle.
That was a dark time.
What a weird.
I think that happened to me. I forgot about that.
We're like, nope. Oh, now we use it as a doorstop for one of our doors that just closes. Anyway.
I love that.
So some visitors have sworn that they have seen shadowy figures moving just beyond their line of sight, only for them to disappear when they approached. There have also been numerous accounts of poltergeist activity. Objects have been known to shift on their own, with chairs scraping across floors, doors slamming shut without explanation, and furniture inexplicably rearranging itself.
Okay, they're not a fan of curtain decor.
They don't want people there.
They don't want people there.
Some guests have even claimed to have been touched by invisible hands, with icy fingers brushing against their skin, or in more alarming cases, receiving scratches of sudden shoves and unseen forces. I'm going to
say something controversial.
Yeah.
I want to be scratched by a ghost.
Oof. I told you about my sister.
Did you?
I don't think I did.
You've said a lot of things about your family.
We're special.
I don't know if we got to that story.
I'll tell you about scratches with my sister after.
Tell me after this. Yeah.
Perhaps the most unsettling stories involve ghostly children. As we know, so many were lost in that house. Visitors have frequently heard the sounds of small feet running through the house, accompanied by faint giggles and whispers. Some claim to have seen tiny figures peeking around corners before vanishing, leaving behind an eerie sense.
That shit scares me to death.
Being watched. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on.
It's one thing if you see a shadow figure peeking around a corner, but when it's a shadow or like a dark figure that's a child, fuck no.
That's why. Okay, I'm afraid to show you the picture. I got scared. I was by myself yesterday. Okay, so the Monte Cristo Homestead was lovingly restored by Reg and Olive Ryan, who we spoke about. Despite their best efforts, they couldn't escape its ghostly reputation. Even they admitted to experiencing bizarre occurrences, from unexplained voices to objects moving on their own. And for decades, the homestead operated as a museum and hosted ghost tours, drawing in paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. However, as of early this year, and it's already still pretty early. It's only March. But this year, Monte Cristo has been closed to the public. While the reason for its closure remains unclear, its legacy as one of Australia's most haunted locations remains strong. Many still hope for its reopening, eager to once again step inside its eerie halls and uncover the secrets that linger there.
I wonder why they closed it.
No one knows.
Because if that's making you money, that's got to be bringing in money.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Do they live in the house or do they just...
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't.
There was yeah.
If that's an income bringer, I would keep that shit open. So I wonder if something happened.
Or maybe they're renovating again.
Maybe. It could be that innocent.
I don't know.
I'm like, something bad happened. I want to know.
Maybe they're just changing the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Maybe they're repainting.
Just touching it up.
So that got me thinking about like past visitors and stuff. So I went to Reddit and found, it's a sort of like, so in our last episode, you had a Reddit story.
Yeah.
Or a couple of Reddit stories about people who like went in skeptics, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of on that same note, but this person included photos of one of the, I think I can't, I'll show you. It's one of the outside houses. Oh, okay. So I was recently a skeptic about the whole paranormal. That was until I visited Monte Cristo Homestead in New South Wales, Australia, in July of this year. So this was a few years ago. I can't remember the year. I'm so sorry, but it was summer a few years ago. Supposedly Australia's most haunted house. This was for my birthday, as I wanted the adrenaline rush, and I stupidly booked to stay overnight. Mind you,
That's amazing. That's what I would do on my birthday. That's like my dream birthday.
This person only got 3 hours of sleep, they said. We arrived at the house at about 3, and we were the first there. So we were told to wander around and get settled in for the next hour or so. This is where it got creepy. Standing in the front of the homestead to the left, there's a gift shop. Nowhere as old as the house. After taking a few so it was a gift shop. Okay, but it's still, you'll see the building. After taking a few pictures of the mansion, I wandered over to the left of the veranda and took a picture of the gift shop. When we arrived, the tour guide said to take pics of windows because that's where they like to show up. I didn't believe this, but I did it anyway. So I zoomed into the gift shop's window, and just as my finger touched the camera button, a little girl's head popped up in the window. This gave me a mini heart attack. I jokingly told my dad that I thought she was a ghost for a second, but later found out from the tour guides that her name is Molly, one of the previous young maids who died around 100 years ago.
So she was a ghost.
She was a ghost.
Okay.
I don't know why they said it. They set it up like that.
Yeah, I was like...
thought she was a ghost, but later found out. So I think they were joking, but then actually found out that it was real.
Gotcha.
She haunts the property, with many other ghosts. And that was before even scarier stuff started happening later that night, especially staying overnight. Just wanted to share. This is a pic I took before I zoomed in. Okay, so you can see this, right? You can't really see anything, but that's where the gift shop is.
Okay.
So then that led me, they posted several. Oh my God. Do you see?
Oh my God. Holy fuck.
That's where I got.
Looks like a person.
That's where I got too scared because then.
Show me. Pull it up. Oh my God.
And I can't get much closer than that. I don't know how to keep zooming in.
Move your mouse. Oh my God. That looks like a corporeal figure, like a body.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
But not alive. And I don't.
And their eyes and mouth look dark. Does that look like that to you?
Yes, exactly. So that's what someone was saying on the Reddit thread. They were able to zoom in really close. I don't, that's as far as it'll let me go. And I don't really know how to, do that.
That's insane.
I gotta get out of here. I freaked out. So some people were saying that they zoomed in even closer to that last picture, and they said it looked like something was wrong with her mouth. So the dark eyes and a dark mouth, and they said something looked wrong with it. And I got too scared. So it's I don't want to see it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But so that was because you said even the gift shop wasn't in the house, but the grounds themselves, I think. And that, structure, who knows how long that had been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Holy
hell.
Out. Or what was there before the gift shop was there?
The gift shop. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Could have been
That's so scary.
I know.
That's a terrifying photo.
That one scared me a lot.
It's she's creeping up and then bam, she's there.
At first it doesn't even look like she's paying attention to the person taking the picture.
Yeah.
Because she's half her head and maybe looking at something else. And it's
I see you. I see you, bitch.
I was I hated that.
Ooh, that gave me the chills.
Isn't that so documentation like that always gets me.
Yeah.
And then of course there were skeptics on there, right? Being you edited that, and they were no, why would I do that? Why would I make this up? But I don't know.
Yeah, I know. People are very quick to, I think logical people would be you added that in, right? But I'm not logical. I'm a dumb bitch, and I believe every word they said.
And I was looking at it, and I was I don't know. Because then why also would you do the two versions of it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Maybe not for somebody who knows how to do that, but it seems like a lot of work for just a Reddit post.
Yeah, it scared me.
It's scary.
That
gave me the chills. God, I still see it in my mind. I'm going to dream about that.
That's how
I was
fucking
dream about
yesterday.
That girl.
I was I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm scared.
What was her name? Molly?
Molly.
I know too much now. That's going to be in my damn dreams.
That's why they closed it, because that photo. They're hey, shut it down.
Dude, they were Molly's out of control.
Oh, God. Oh,
she's showing
that'd be
herself.
really, really scary.
That would be scary. I want to go.
Sneak on. Oh, if anyone in Australia is listening, don't take that seriously.
No, don't do that. Do not commit crimes. Private property, trespassing is bad news.
Well, that's the story of the Monte Cristo Homestead.
I love that.
Now I want a Monte Cristo sandwich.
Okay, that's what I've been thinking about this whole time. It's been I'm listening to your story but the voices in my head, that are always talking, they were thinking about a sandwich.
Tell you what, if I could eat, if any Disneyland fans are listening, at Blue Bayou, okay, you know where I'm going with this. Blue Bayou has a Monte Cristo sandwich, and the restaurant you sit in, and it's like part of the dining area is within Pirates of the Caribbean. So you can sit by the ride, and like people will be floating past you, and you're like, "Hi, eat my sandwich." One of the best Monte Cristo sandwiches I've ever had.
Really?
So
Really?
good. So expensive.
What is
so
a Monte
good.
Cristo? I was just thinking about a sandwich in general.
Oh,
I wasn't even thinking about the Monte Cristo itself, but I can't recall what is on a Monte Cristo.
I know that there's ham, and like the one I had, I think it had some sort of jam on there, but it's a deep fried sandwich with powdered sugar.
That's what I thought.
So
with powdered sugar?
Yeah, I think.
Whoa. Holy fuck.
Let me look this up because I might be, maybe, is that just in Disneyland?
It's a Disney special.
There's sugar on it. Yeah, it's good.
Damn.
So it's a fried sandwich with ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, and mustard. I think this one, maybe I dipped it in jam.
Maybe.
It was good.
What kind of jam was it?
I don't know. Strawberry,
like a berry?
raspberry. Yeah.
A berry jam?
I would say a berry. Personally, I'm a big fan of raspberry.
I am not picky when it comes to jam.
It's my favorite donut.
A good jam. Kevin's mom makes a lot of jam. Have you had some of her jam?
No.
Yeah, she makes it from the fruit in their backyard.
Oh my God. Speaking of their backyard,
dude.
So in Texas, and specifically in North Dallas, last week, we had really bad storms. Like tornado force winds with no tornado. Anyway, a city near us was hit really, really hard. And so Jen's husband's family lives in this city, and they had this backyard awning type thing, right?
It was like a covered back porch. It fucking blew. And it blew the hell off. It was like a screened-in porch. Yeah. And the roof was on their roof.
It's insane.
It flipped up. And it was pretty, I don't know dimensions of things.
It was big.
I couldn't tell you, but it fit 2 tables, 2 kinds of grills, a TV, a table that fit 5 or 6 people, and another table that fit 6 or 8 people. So this is a large covered-in porch.
It's big.
And it was huge. And the whole fucking thing was on, the whole roof was on their roof, like upside down. You could see the fans coming out of the roof that they had just installed.
Oh, no.
No.
Were y'all hit hard?
No, I mean, Kevin's motorcycle cover blew away, but that was about it. And I think at our new house, Kevin went out with the inspector last week after that, and part of the fence was messed up, but they're going to fix that since we don't own it yet.
That's nice.
Still theirs to fix.
Yeah, we didn't have any damage, but a neighbor, their whole fence fell over.
Oh my God.
And a bunch of broken tree branches.
There were trees everywhere. Yeah, there was trees uprooted. Kevin said a tree in the neighborhood by his mom's house that's like 100 years old was uprooted.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. And I think that house also had somebody drive into it at one point. So that's just like a really unlucky.
That's so sad.
I know.
Yeah, y'all, if you don't live in Texas, you don't know. Our spring storms, they're not to be fucked with.
They're not to be fucked with.
They're really bad.
They're a hot mess. But what else is not to be fucked with are the ghosts at the Old City Jail. The jail. It's also called something else. The Old Charleston Jail or the Old City Jail. I think those are interchangeable. But when I first heard about this story, I think I heard about it years ago on Two Girls, One Ghost.
Okay.
And it was one of the scariest places I had heard on that podcast. And I was super interested in it. And Charleston obviously has a long, rich history in darkness and hauntings. So was definitely drawn to this. But yeah. So Charleston's first city jail was small, poorly constructed, and became overcrowded as the city expanded. The original jail was built in 1802 to the 1810s. By the early 1800s, Charleston had grown into a bustling port city, and the need for a larger facility became urgent. The Old City Jail was constructed on Magazine Street in 1802, designed to house criminals, debtors, pirates, and enslaved people in an imposing fortified structure that would withstand the test of time.
Pirates. Oh
pirates. I know. I was like, what's this? Where'd the pirates go?
The theme for my book club this month is pirates, and we are reading a book called A Pirate's Life for Tea.
Oh, you have to let me know how it goes. Oh, I read that book.
Phantasma.
Phantasma.
Did you love it?
So good.
Wasn't it kind of hot too?
Like, it was hot.
Yeah.
The ghost fucking was great. But then, I mean, I can't even give it away.
I know.
But
Y'all should read it. The second one's coming out end of April, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like a sequel to that one? Because I know there's another book, but I think it focuses on her sister going to.
So that's the second book.
I didn't read it.
Enchantra or something.
It's not out yet?
Not out yet. It's coming in April.
I thought it was already out. Oh, shit. Okay.
This cover still is pretty, and it's like purpley. Yeah. But it's called Enchantra, and it's about the sister.
Oh my God. Yeah, I read that in 2 days. I was obsessed. It was so good. Okay. So the jail itself was designed with Gothic architecture, complete with narrow windows, high walls, and cells built to hold criminals in absolute isolation. When the jail was constructed in 1802, it consisted of 4 stories, topped with a 2-story octagonal tower. Charleston architects Barbeau and Sale. It's Barbot, and then the other person was Seyle. So I don't know. Barbeau and Sale is how.
Yeah. Barbeau sounds French. Barba.
I'm probably butchering it, but I did not look up the pronunciation, and I did not care. But anyways, Charleston architects Barbeau and Sale were responsible for the 1855 alterations to the building, including a rear octagonal wing, expansions to the main building, and the Romanesque revival details. This octagonal wing replaced a fireproof wing with individual cells, designed by Robert Mills in 1822, 5 years earlier than his notable fireproof building. The 1886 earthquake badly damaged the tower and the top story of the main building, and these were subsequently removed. So they were added, then they were removed.
Okay.
The architecture significantly contributed to the cruel conditions to which the prisoners were subjected. Windows held no glass, so the cold Atlantic sea air would create damp conditions perfect for mold and other infectious bacteria. Torture was common.
My God.
I know, right? That damp environment. Illness.
Was like that too.
Yeah, it was.
Nasty.
Torture was common, along with the increased violence that was executed with no sign of relenting. When the Old City Jail was first constructed in 1802, it was designed to hold only a small number of prisoners. However, Charleston's rapid growth as a port city and slave trading hub quickly outstripped the facility's capacity, and the jail became a holding place for a variety of different prisoners, from enslaved individuals, pirates, debtors, to mentally ill people who had nowhere else to go.
Good.
Yeah. The jail's original design, with its small cells, limited ventilation, and narrow hallways, did not provide much room for comfort or privacy. The building's Gothic-style architecture, though imposing, offered little in the way of relief for those confined inside. The overcrowded started early, and by the 1820s, the situation had reached a breaking point. So one of the most significant and traumatic events at the Old City Jail was the Denmark-Vesey conspiracy of 1822. Hold on, let me look up how to say his name. I don't want to say it wrong. Vesey. Okay.
Vesey.
Southern. Okay. So Denmark Vesey, a former enslaved man who had purchased his freedom, plotted a massive slave revolt against the city's white elite.
Oh,
the rebellion. I know, right? Get it. The rebellion was meticulously planned and was to occur on July 14th, 1822. The goal was to kill as many slave owners as possible and free enslaved people in Charleston. Ooh. I love the energy. I love the energy.
Steven said something this past weekend. He said, murder's not justice, it's just a crime. And I was like,
sometimes it's justice.
Sometimes it's justice too, man.
This seems like it could have been justice.
Yeah.
As long as only the people
that were bad,
the slave owners, and were bad, were bad. Yeah. Only as long as it's only slave owners. I don't want like family.
No, it's
like don't kill their kids. Don't
unless they're little shits.
Yeah. Kill the teenagers. I don't care.
Unless they're hoping to go in Papa's footsteps. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe just kill them all then. I changed my mind. However, the plot was discovered by informants, and before it could unfold, 131 people were arrested, many of whom were tortured or killed in response to the rebellion. Yeah. 35 conspirators were executed, including Vesey, who was hanged on July 2nd, 1822. The execution was public, with Vesey's body being desecrated and displayed as a warning to others. Yeah. The Old City Jail became a place of inhumane interrogation, and many of those arrested were subjected to torture, likely leading to the profound sense of suffering that still lingers in the building. Right? Like, of course, like we've talked about before, like that energy just doesn't leave. Some say that Denmark Vessie's ghost is one of the primary spirits that haunts the Old City Jail. Visitors often report mysterious sounds of chains rattling and whispers in the dark near the upper levels of the building where prisoners were once kept in solitary confinement. And these may be linked to those who were incarcerated after the rebellion. By the 1830s, Charleston had become a hub for pirates. The port city was frequented by infamous pirates such as Blackbeard, Stead Bonnet, and their crews. I don't know who the second person is, but I trust that they were a big pirate.
I want to know.
I want to know too. After capturing pirates, Charleston's authorities would imprison them in the Old City Jail. Pirate Captain Stede Bonnet was one of the most notorious, and he spent time in the Old City Jail before being executed. The jail's grim reputation began to spread further. During this time, Charleston city leaders also began using the Old City Jail for the execution of many criminals. The jail became known as the hanging jail due to the number of public executions carried out in front of a crowd where prisoners were hanged from the gallows in a gruesome spectacle. One of the most infamous executions was that of Lavinia Fisher in 1820. Have you heard of her?
I think so. Lavinia.
Yeah. She was regarded as the first female serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could do a whole other episode on her, but I definitely wanted to include her in this because she's a big part of this jail's history. Lavinia and her husband were allegedly involved in luring travelers to their deaths at their inn in Charleston. They would offer to accommodate travelers, only for them to be killed by the Fishers after being drugged and their bodies hidden in the house. I didn't really get into Lavinia because it's a whole thing. But I know from hearing her story, like on numerous other podcasts, that there was allegedly a lever. They would be sleeping in their beds and they would pull a lever and they would fall down into a lower level and that's where they would be killed.
Okay, Sweeney Todd.
But they could not find evidence of that, I believe, is what I've also heard. So, but we won't get too far into that because that's, like I said, a whole other story.
I also can only hear, Kronk, pull the lever.
Yes. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. It's a much less darker version of pulling the lever compared to Sweeney Todd.
So when you watch Emperor's New Groove, I hope you think of the serial killer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought that was from the Minions. My bad, dog.
No, no, not that.
You're
not
right.
That one.
I forgot about that. That's Kevin's favorite Disney movie is Emperor's New Groove.
It is so good.
It has aged well, I think.
Yeah.
It has aged well. It's still hilarious.
We're going to derail it. Never mind.
It's okay.
Being of Emperor's New Groove. Oh.
No, go ahead. Derail it. Let's go.
We did it for Halloween one year. Steven was Pacha and I was Cusco. And it was really cute.
Oh my God.
And our friend was Kronk.
You must send pictures now so I can put on the Instagram.
Okay.
You must send photos. Since you told the story, you have to send evidence.
We were very cute.
I believe that you were. So while some of the details of her guilt remain in dispute, Lavinia's story has become legendary, and her haunting of the Old City Jail is one of the most commonly reported. Lavinia's execution was particularly horrifying because instead of showing fear or remorse, Lavinia was reported to have yelled to the crowd, "If you have a message for the devil, tell me now, for I will be seeing him soon." That's like the iconic line.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Okay, I've heard that one. And I was like, okay.
That is also what I will be saying before I die.
Go on.
I'm going to steal that. Her behavior was seen as both defiant and eerily calm, fueling rumors that she had made a pact with the devil. Of course, they thought that back then. Today, her ghost is frequently seen. I know, right? I mean, it's possible. Today, her ghost is frequently seen at the upper levels of the jail, where she is said to wander in a white dress. We got a woman in white.
Woman in white, baby.
I know. With some reporting the distinct sound of her voice shouting, "Get out." I know.
Dang.
I'd be like, you get out, bitch.
I hope.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm saying you get out.
Why don't you leave? Can you go?
Why are you trying to stay there? By the time the Civil War era arrived, the overcrowded conditions at the Old City Jail were horrific.
God.
The facility had become a nightmare for men, women, and children imprisoned within it. Well, yep, they held children there. While prisoners suffered from poor sanitation, disease, and malnutrition, the real tragedy of overcrowding was the constant tension and psychological torment that inmates endured due to their confinement in tiny, dark cells. The lack of proper medical care and overcrowding led to death becoming a common occurrence, particularly from diseases like smallpox, tuberculosis, and dysentery.
Maybe even measles.
Maybe even the measles.
If you're hearing this,
get your vaccines. Get your booster, baby. The Old City Jail's role as a holding facility for Union soldiers during the Civil War added yet another layer of suffering to its history. The jail became known as a place where prisoners were held in dire conditions, overcrowded, filthy, and with little to no food. Many Union soldiers died of disease such as smallpox and dysentery, leading to a very high mortality rate.
Imagine being a ghost that died from dysentery.
Dude. You
Like, how
couldn't-
embarrassing.
That would be like you died from shitting too much.
And it's not fault.
It's not your fault, but you shit yourself to death.
Also, my fidget spinner hit the
I
desk.
was like, what is...
I farted.
I heard that like jingling and I wasn't sure.
Turns out I have ADHD.
Turns out, surprise! So while exact numbers are unclear, it is estimated that hundreds of soldiers died in the jail during the Civil War. Their tortured spirits are often said to wander the upper floors of the building, crying out for help or heard moaning and whispering in the dark. These experiences have been consistently reported by visitors and paranormal investigators. So we're into 1939. After more than 130 years of housing criminals, slaves, pirates, and war prisoners, the Old City Jail was officially closed due to its deteriorating condition.
Okay, about 100 years too late.
Yeah. By the time the jail closed its doors, the Old City Jail had become a symbol of cruelty, suffering, and overcrowding. Prisoners were subjected to harsh physical conditions with little in the way of basic needs like food, water, and medical treatment. The bodies of the dead were often left to rot in their cells, and some were simply buried in unmarked graves within the jail's grounds. Just complete disrespect for the bodies of those people. The site was left abandoned for several decades, though its reputation as a haunted building grew over time. In the 1970s, the building was opened as a museum, but even more reports of paranormal activity began circulating. The jail was sold in the 90s to the Charleston Housing Authority. It was then purchased by the American College of the Building Arts in 2000 and was used to show students about renovating and restoring historic buildings. Today, the Old City Jail serves both as a museum and a location for paranormal tours. It was managed by the American College of the Building Arts and was part of Charleston's effort to preserve its rich historical and architectural heritage. The jail has undergone various restoration projects to maintain its historical integrity and ensure that future generations can learn about its dark history. Many of the jail's original features, like the stone walls, iron bars, and wooden doors, have been preserved, and efforts continue to keep the building in good condition for educational and tourist purposes. In 2016, Landmark Enterprises purchased the Old Charleston Jail and transformed it into an event venue now known as 21 Magazine. The renovation reportedly cost... Yeah, it's an event venue. You can get married there.
What? You'd have your, quinceañera there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's maybe... Me and Kevin will have a real wedding one day, and we'll do it at the 21 Magazine, a.k.a. Old City Jail.
Okay, are there any... Okay, keep going.
The renovation reportedly cost $15 million and includes office space for lease. The Old City Jail has become a hot spot.
Get some work done in his old
I know, right? Hopefully it's in one of the cells.
I wonder if, the ghosts are pretty chill with this, and they're like, okay, I could go for a party, after being tortured.
Yeah,
and
this is better than the boring college kids building shit. I'm just kidding.
I'm so curious.
I know. So it's become a hotspot for ghost hunters and paranormal investigators. The jail has been featured on many TV shows like Ghost Adventures. It has become a popular tourist attraction, especially for ghost tours. So let's talk about the hauntings.
Yeah.
We'll first talk about the ghost of Lavinia Fisher. Her ghost is one of the most famous and persistent entities believed to haunt the Old City Jail. As the first woman executed in South Carolina, her tragic story and legendary last words have left a lasting imprint on the jail. Lavinia is said to appear in a white dress, like we said, which is typically associated with the tradition of brides or women in mourning. This may be because of her wedding dress she was allegedly wearing when she was arrested. Witnesses claim that she roams the upper floors of the jail, particularly near cell 9, which is believed to have been where she spent her final days before her execution. Her ghost has been described as having long, dark hair and a calm but eerie presence. Her spirit is often described as appearing unexpectedly to people who visit the jail, particularly during the later hours of the night. Visitors frequently report feelings of being watched or an overwhelming sense of unease when they are near her cell. Some people have said that they felt a sudden rush of cold air, a signature of her spirit's presence, or heard her soft, almost whispering voice saying cryptic things such as, "Leave me alone, get out, and you're next."
Oh, no.
Yep. And there's a curse. Some people believe Lavinia's ghost may still be seeking revenge for her execution. Legend has it that she cursed the city of Charleston before her death, swearing that her spirit would haunt the region. These interactions with visitors suggest that Lavinia's soul is still restless and looking for justice, or perhaps just a moment of closure.
So sorry.
You're fine. I know it's very boring.
Dang.
I feel you.
When can we quit our jobs?
We just need 5 more listeners, and I think we'll be there.
Okay, perfect.
It's 5. Tell your friends. The Shadow Man is one of the most terrifying apparitions reported at the Old City Jail. Yep. This dark silhouette-like figure is often seen in the stairwells, hallways, or near the entryways to the cells. He's described as a tall, dark, and often menacing figure, often observed to be moving in a way that doesn't align with the natural lighting or angles of the building. creating the sense that it's not fully solid.
Oh.
He's often seen, I think this is the story, the Shadow Man was what I heard in that episode of Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yeah.
Because I think Corinne, one of the hosts, went to the Old City Jail and toured it. So she had an experience or they were telling them about experiences. I'll link their episode about this in the show notes for anyone to listen to because they do a really good job. And I think, especially because she had been there, it was really interesting to hear. But so he's often seen in dimly lit areas, particularly at the top of the stairs or near the windows, and is described as a figure that seems to absorb the light around it, making it appear darker than the surrounding shadows. People who report seeing the Shadow Man often state that they cannot make out any features, but there's a strong, unsettling presence that follows them. He's commonly described as silent, but some have reported feeling a chill or a heavy, oppressive atmosphere when he appears. Some paranormal investigators believe the shadow may represent a violent or tortured prisoner who was executed or left to die in the jail. In particular, the Shadow Man is often said to appear right before something significant happens, like the feeling of being touched or the appearance of strange sounds.
Right?
I
thought it was going to be like something like starts appearing before like a big storm. Or like a hurricane,
No, just like you're being about to be touched by a ghost.
Oh, God.
I know. Some paranormal experts believe that the Shadow Man is not one spirit, but rather the collective energy of many suffering souls who were imprisoned in the jail and are still trying to reach out or escape. Yeah, that one is really interesting to me. I don't know why, but I really want to know more about that.
Like
I'd love to take a tour in here. Yeah, and that makes sense that would be the collective energy of all of the distress and tragedy of staying there. Although I'm sure some people were actually criminals, but, I think that they probably deserve some better conditions than that.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. During the Civil War, the Old City Jail became a holding cell for many Union soldiers, particularly after the Confederate Army took over Charleston. Visitors and investigators have often reported seeing figures in Civil War-era clothing, usually appearing as faint shadows or translucent forms. They are often seen near cell blocks or hallways where soldiers were once kept in deplorable conditions. In many cases, people describe feeling like they're being watched or followed by these spirits, especially in areas where Union soldiers died of diseases like dysentery or smallpox. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Union soldiers' hauntings is the constant sound of moans or groans. Many people have reported hearing low, muffled voices, sometimes described as whispers or cries for help. Investigators using spirit boxes or EVPs have picked up phrases such as "help me," "water please," "let me out."
Oh my God.
I know.
The water
It's sad.
one.
I know. Many visitors to the jail report feeling a dramatic temperature drop, especially in the lower levels of the building where soldiers were kept. Paranormal investigators have caught sudden fluctuations in temperature during investigations, especially in rooms where soldiers reportedly died. These areas have the highest concentration of spirit activity. Perhaps one of the most eerie, consistent, and unnerving reports at the Old City Jail involves the sound of rattling chains. The building's history of capturing pirates, enslaved people, and mentally ill prisoners means that the chains and shackles once used to restrain them have left an imprint on the jail's energy. These sounds are often described as loud, clinking, rattling chains that can be heard throughout the jail, particularly in the lower levels and isolated cells where prisoners were once shackled for days, sometimes even weeks. In some cases, right? Can you imagine being shackled
No.
for that? Or like a day would be a day too long. There's no way. In some cases, investigators have even noted hearing the sound of chains dragging across the floor, followed by the sensation of being physically touched by something unseen. Yeah.
Again with the touching.
The touching.
We can live.
Yeah.
Just don't touch me.
You don't gotta touch me. Actually, I want to be touched
You
in more
go
ways
for
than
it.
one.
You
I'm
go
just
for
kidding.
it. I'm like, good.
When I walk in the jail, I'll be like, please touch me. And then Kevin will be the one that's touched. I fucking swear.
Even like hugs from people.
Same. I am not a touchy-feely. I'll hug people when I see them. But if you're having feelings and it's requiring a hug, I'm uncomfortable.
It'll make them worse. It'll make it worse.
Yeah. I'm like that. Did you ever watch 30 Rock? Wait, no, it's not 30 Rock. What is it from? Maybe it's 30 Rock. I don't fucking know what it's from. But I feel like Tina Fey's involved. That's why I think of 30 Rock. But she's like, it's like a gif of her with a broom and someone's kneeled over crying in the bathtub and she's rubbing their back with a broom. Like, there, you're okay. And that's
funny,
how
though.
I feel like I am when other people have feelings. It's the Aquarius in me.
Well, if I'm upset, I don't want people hugging me because it makes it worse.
Yeah, no thanks.
Don't touch me.
Several visitors have reported being tugged as though invisible chains are trying to drag them down, while others have said they felt their clothing or hair pulled as if somebody were trying to grab them.
Nope.
Yeah. Others have felt restless in areas where the chains are most prominent, describing an overwhelming sense of unease or being watched. What?
Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
Steven's got to come
Yeah.
for something.
Okay. Come on in, Steven.
Quickly, Steven.
What are you asking him for?
Oh, he's asking me for something. Or...
Oh.
Your cheeks.
I love you.
Oh. What did he get you?
He got me a surprise swig. You can put this in the podcast.
My God.
So
That's so sweet.
depending on
What is your drink of choice?
Well, so this one he got me a Sandy Cheeks, and it's a sparkling water. It's like it's got sugar-free peach, sugar-free coconut, maybe.
Oh. Is it good?
That's
I
so
love
good.
that. That was so nice of him.
I love swig.
Oh.
that's so
I've never been to
nice.
Swig.
Oh,
I know about it from that show.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Secret Lives of Mormon. Did you watch that?
No.
Oh my God. You got to watch it.
But anyway, Swig is very good. We should go.
Swig
and they
is
have
good.
really good
Yeah.
cookies. And
Do they? Are they like freshly
Yes.
baked?
So they serve them cold at it. Like,
Okay.
first of all, they're like this big. You
Okay.
get like 12 in a cup. And
Oh,
they
okay.
keep them in a fridge, but they're like soft
I like
cookies
that though.
that are, oh my God, girl, I love it. I wonder why
Okay.
you didn't get cookies.
Maybe he did and he's eating them all.
I swear.
I swear to God.
We ate
gonna be
salads
next.
for dinner. Sorry, my fidget. It sounds like a toot.
I'm keeping that in.
Okay. I'm not tooting. I've got
I'm not tooting.
my Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah, if you hear
Fidget
a
spinner.
spinning noise, it's just her. There you go. That's for reference. That's what that is. Just ignore
I'm
it. She
12.
needs it. She needs it.
Hey, how cool.
Okay.
Why? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Denmark Bessie's spirit is one of the most chilling to some ghost hunters. It is believed that his anger and defiance at his unjust execution
Execution.
were so intense that they caused the spirit to become trapped within the jail. Some visitors have reported hearing low guttural growls, often followed by a sense of intense cold. His ghost is sometimes
Growls?
described growls, girl. Bessie be growling.
Calm down. You're doing the most.
I know. That's too much. His ghost is sometimes described as a tall, dark figure seen walking through the upper levels of the jail. As in many haunted places, the Old City Jail is famous for its cold spots. These cold spots are especially prominent in the lower levels where prisoners were kept in isolation or where the Union soldiers died, like we talked about. Paranormal experts point to the cold spots as one of the most reliable indicators that a spirit is nearby. People often experience the cold not just through the drop in temperature, but through the physical sensation of being touched by cold hands or feeling as though someone is breathing down their neck. That would
Talk
not,
about a micromanager.
like, I know, touch me with your cold hands, but please don't breathe down my neck. That's the line for me.
I'll giggle.
I think. I'll be like,
I'll giggle. That's it's a very ticklish spot.
it is a ticklish spot.
And Steven and
Yeah.
I will like, just even if you
Maybe
just
it's like the
blow
back of your
air.
neck, though. Maybe it's like the back of your neck. Because I
No,
feel like that's
oh.
not as ticklish and that's
No,
more
it's
like
not.
goosebump.
That's scary.
That's the scary one. That's what I imagine when I hear
I'd be
them
like,
say that.
I get scared here. And then I'm like,
Yeah. Some report a sense of heaviness that accompanies the cold as though the spirit is trying to make its presence known. So many visitors and paranormal investigators have also reported hearing strange sounds in the cells, particularly the ones that were used to house mentally ill prisoners or those considered particularly dangerous.
oh.
In these, I know, in
Did they
these
put them in
isolated
the
areas,
same area?
dude, they sure did. They put,
That's fucked
that's
up.
just insane to me. But they probably thought they were dangerous.
I know.
If they're uneducated on mental illness and
Oh,
shit.
God.
In these isolated areas, many report hearing what they describe as echoing voices. Some of these voices are calm, others frantic. The voices sometimes form phrases like, let me out, help me, I didn't do it. Another common phenomenon is the sound of cell doors slamming shut, even when there is no one in the vicinity. And some investigators have even experienced doors slamming by themselves, and many of the jail's visitors describe feeling a shift in the atmosphere when this happens. It's that the spirits are actively trying to communicate. Yeah.
This has just taught me, don't like imprison people and don't torture
No.
them. If they're
Yeah.
imprisoned, just to torture them.
Exactly. Just like, I feel like that's torture enough, you know? human rights and shit.
Yeah. Maybe I'm too empathetic. I don't know. Because if someone like
Maybe.
killed my family, I'd be like, I'd go John Wick on their asses, you know?
Yeah, go John Wick on their asses.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because a lot of this is like, so far back in the day, you couldn't prove it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Their investigation methods were not
And they didn't have
quite what they are now, even though it's not perfect now.
It's not, no. And
We
the
have a
court
lot
system is
more-
still really messed up. But
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it better.
I know.
So,
I don't either.
I'm not a doctor.
That's for another podcast. We're not doctors. We can't make the justice system better.
I'm not a doctor.
So the Old City Jail in Charleston is not just haunted by one or two restless spirits. It's a place steeped in layers of suffering, anger, and tragedy that have accumulated over the centuries. From pirates to enslaved people, Civil War soldiers, and infamous criminals, the souls who died here are believed to still linger, unable to find peace. Each room, each corridor, and each cold, dark corner of the jail holds the possibility of an encounter with the paranormal. Whether it's the whispers of the long-dead prisoners, the shadows that seem to move on their own, or the cold breath of the spirits trying to make contact, the Old City Jail is a place where the veil between the living and the dead is incredibly thin. And I have a story, a Reddit story,
Yeah.
I wanted to share. So this one is entitled Scratched on Tour at Old Charleston Jail, Paranormal Activity in the Home Following. And I was like, yes, I want to be scratched.
It also sounds like the name of somebody's tour. Scratched on tour.
Scratched
you know?
on tour. Yeah, exactly. Can I get a shirt? I need a t-shirt. So a few weeks ago, when I decided to go on a tour of the Old Charleston Jail in Charleston, South Carolina, it's literally called that. I've researched for other names. That was in parentheses. I had an experience I cannot explain. I am a nanny, 23-year-old female, and had the opportunity to accompany my employers on a trip. The evenings were my own to explore, and despite being a little nervous because I never really travel alone, I decided to be adventurous. Barely 15 minutes into the tour guide tells us the infamous story of Lavinia, the demented innkeeper woman that trapped, robbed, and killed men. She was subsequently hung at the jail in her wedding dress and still exists as a vengeful spirit on the grounds who is known to scratch people. Ooh, spooky. That was in parentheses. As he's telling us the story, my head and neck are getting hot, and I mean burning hot. My neck starts to furiously burn/tingle, and I become so woozy, I ask the tour guide to point me towards the bathroom. He looks at my neck and asks me if I had a dark red mark on my neck before the tour. Looking in the bathroom mirror, I couldn't believe what I saw. A scratch, almost the perfect size of a woman's fingernail, was raised on my neck. I had just been in the bathroom before the tour, and this was a very clear, very distinctive mark that was not there before. The tour guide took a picture and even said that it was the most prominent one he has seen. I'm also very pale, though. I feel that, girl. The craziest part was the mark just kept getting hotter, redder, and increasingly more painful as the tour went on. As if Lavinia, I know, as if Lavinia or someone else was continuing to bother me throughout the tour. By the next morning, the mark was almost completely faded into a pale pink line on my collarbone. So it was just like during the tour.
You
Got
in
worse and
danger,
then was
girl.
gone. I know. Now for the part that's really been bothering me. A little backstory that I think might be related. Last year, I had a severe medical emergency, and it was the closest I've ever been to death. At only 23, this just really shook up myself and the whole family. Prior to this event, when visiting supposedly haunted locations or going on ghost tours, I felt hardly anything. Maybe goosebumps or the hairs on the back of my neck standing up because of the negative energy at most. However, this was my first ghost tour since, and during my entire visit at this Charleston jail, I felt constant energy, and this time it was emotionally jarring/torturous. After the scratch, it felt like I was being confronted with that life-changing moment over and over, even though the stories being told were clearly about people long dead. I couldn't stop sobbing the rest of the tour. I felt and looked like a crazy person to everyone else.
I was about to say, I'd have been like,
I'm like, girl, you need to go. It felt like I had entered the jail, exhaled, and let a wall down between me and something that was able to emotionally stir me. The tour guide said I may have been an appealing target to the spirits as a young woman traveling the city alone, but I am convinced that this medical crisis I experienced may have something to do with the sudden immense feeling of paranormal energy. I'm still a skeptic and have already tried debunking this in my mind. I thought it was my purse strap, but then I realized it was draped over the opposite side of my body. It's not possible it's a hickey, as friends have joked, so please don't ask, haha. I've considered hives, but I've never had a rash or anything like that just suddenly occur in my life and with such convenient timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you
And
don't
like,
have to...
hives don't look like
A scratch. Yeah. It's like raised bumps. Despite my skepticism, I have always made sure that I make it clear that no negative spiritual energy is to follow me, attach itself to me, etc. However, last week I had a moment at home that seriously terrified me. I was standing at the kitchen sink, completely alone in my apartment, when I heard a deep, low growl right in my ear. I mean, a growl. It was so real that I whipped my head around and yelped. My roommate was in a completely different state. I don't have any pets, and I had never heard this sound before. It didn't sound like an animal at all. It was like an angry person grrring right in my ear. It's approaching the year anniversary of my close to death experience, and I'm starting to feel crazy and like it's all psychological. However, these recent events leave me unable to reason and honestly looking for a different explanation. I felt presences around me in my apartment sometimes, but just played it off before as commonplace tricks of the mind, including darting shadow figures.
No, girl. No, baby girl. You being haunted.
I know.
You being haunted.
Yeah. And I really do agree with what she's saying about being that close to death.
We talked about that last time. We talked about that last episode where we're like...
I firmly believe that is true. Just wholeheartedly believe that the closer you get to that side, the more you're able to experience it.
Oh, also, whenever she's talking about hearing the growl, I just think of all of the smutty books that I've been reading, and it's like,
I'm like, wait a minute.
And I'm like,
I know. Okay. Wait a minute. I know. I'm like, that could hit right under the right circumstances. That growl could do it for me.
Is anyone else turned on?
Are we reading too much smut?
Yes, I believe so. We need to throw in a memoir in there or something.
Yeah.
Would never.
Just a nonfiction autobiography.
No, thank you.
Historical fiction. No, that sounds like shit. I want to read smut. Give me the smut.
I want to feel something.
That was the Old City Jail in Charleston, South Carolina. Sounds very spooky.
Yeah.
We're going to go on a pod trip there one day.
It does sound spooky. Yeah, we can hold an event there.
We could hold an event. Yeah. We could do a live show there.
Everyone just come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the paranormal tour after.
Yeah.
It could be our first and only live show.
Girl, I don't want to be scratched. I don't want people to be growling at me.
I want to be
scratched. My thing is with that last story is, did some of those spirits like follow her home? Or,
I know.
I'm thinking very much like Haunted Mansion. Did they hitchhike a ride home? But like, or does she have her own? You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
we need
I
an
wonder if
update
maybe
from
she's
this girl.
just. I know, right? I wonder if she's just more open to it now. Not open like she wants it, but
she's been touched.
She's been touched, and now she can just experience those things. Or maybe going to the Old City Jail kind of sparks something too.
Yeah.
Where now her senses know that she can experience that, and now she's more attuned to it.
It like opens something.
Like, yeah.
Ugh.
Or something followed her back, which, I mean, could be possible. We'll never know.
Hitchhiking.
Yeah.
That was
so
good.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, so that was our story for the day. We've got another episode to record, so we'll cut the yapping.
Yeah, but
we won't yap for this.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
And please subscribe to our channel.
On whatever platform you're on for podcasts. Please subscribe. Leave us a review. Give us a rating.
Yeah, tell us what you liked.
To us.
Tell us what you didn't like.
Yeah.
Email us your stories so we can read them on here.
At In My Haunted Era on Instagram, TikTok. And then email us at inmyhauntederapod@gmail.com.
Don't forget that pod.
Email us, don't forget the pod. You can email us your scary stories, your opinions, thoughts, feelings. We'll read them.
If there's a topic you want us to cover.
Yes.
Yeah. I said text that too.
Text that.
Write that too.
Yeah. Send it our way and we will read them. Okay. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll
haunt you later.
Bye.
Bye.